Welcome to Foodie Spiritual.
Hi, and welcome to the channel Foodie Spiritual. I'm your host, Foodie Spiritual. Okay? Spirit, what kind of message do you truly intend for the audience or for the listeners to pick up on? What is the message for today coming from these cards? Five of Pentacles. Okay, here we go. 3 cards today. 4 cards, actually. So we're going to see it's all about, looking like it's all about money. All Pentacles. All Pentacles energy. So it's the 5 of Pentacles, the Gudon. The 9 of Pentacles, A5 Wagyu steak dinner. The 4 of Pentacles, bar snacks. And the 8 of Pentacles, tea and dessert set. Interesting. So we're going to look into the foodie book to find out what message is coming from here. So with the 5 of Pentacles, it's Gudon. Financial loss, unemployment, isolation. The food of poor high school and college students alike, the humble Gudon is eaten by those who don't have much to their names in the first place. As seen in the anime like Beyond the Boundary and Steins Gate, the characters who choose this are usually the ones who have no other option. All they can afford is a cheap bowl of rice and a scant layer of thinly sliced beef and onions scattered across the top. It is not all bad though. Gudon's popularity comes from its affordability, which is sometimes a nice compliment to its salty, sweet, beefy flavoring. So, some people are going through a financial loss, unemployment, and isolation. So I'm feeling like this is prophetic. It's more serious. Usually the prophetic messages tend to be more serious, to give warning and to give encouragement. So I encourage you, like, if you're going through something, scale back if you can. And if you can't, find ways where you can look to see if you can find ways to scale back even more. Okay, 9 of Pentacles, A5 Wagyu steak. And that's a very vast difference. You know, Wagyu is one of the most expensive steaks in the world, or cuts of beef in the world. And you go from Gudon to Wagyu. That is a good message. So let's see what 9 of Pentacles is saying. Abundance, maturity, financial independence. See, there's a vast difference. And this is financial prosperity, prophetic type thing, messaging. So it says here for the Wagyu. Nothing is better than the fine marbling in a A5 Wagyu steak, except maybe its melt in your mouth qualities. It's so good that you often leave it to professionals to cook up. But when you're mature enough, such as in campfire cooking, in another word of my absurd skills, highlights the delectability of this meat and the masterful skill required to prepare it yourself, which represents a sense of luxury and financial independence. Not just anyone can buy this expensive delicacy, and not just anyone can have the wherewithal to trust themselves to cook it properly. You work hard for this and the results are worth it. Pause for a moment to take stock though. Working hard is fine, but it can be hard to justify if you have to compromise yourself for the hustle. So, when you're going through tough times, I encourage you to find ways, find the solution within it. Find the hunt the good stuff. Find what is the purpose? Find the purpose behind it. I know it sounds cliche, but as a person that went from extreme poverty to middle class, it was a very difficult and heartbreaking journey. Very difficult, very heartbreaking, such as just like this Wagyu steak dinner. You know, not just like this Gudon, but it prepared me for this Wagyu. It got people out of my way that didn't mean me well. So I had to go through these things so that these people can be out of my way. And they would look down on me, just like it says, the lower class This is something that the lower class would eat and stuff like that. And then to move into a Wagyu position, that's a journey. That's a journey in itself. Going from poverty to extremely prosperous is a journey, and it takes a lot of, and through this process, a lot of stuff burns off of you. A lot of preconceived notions that you didn't know before, especially if you come from a poor family. There's a different mentality for those that continue in poverty than there is for people who find a way to increase their wealth in a proper way. But guess what? If you don't do it in a proper way, you're still having this mindset right here, this poverty mindset. So you can't truly enjoy the Wagyu unless you go through this process properly. Okay, so we're gonna look at the Four of Pentacles. What is it saying? It's all money. This is all money. This is all it's also prophecy, as I feel that energy coming from it. Bar snacks, saving money, control, conservative spending. Outside, the rain pours ceaselessly down, and the company workers come rushing into the izakaya, trying to relax with their co-workers before going home. But not everyone. For some, saving money is the name of the game this evening, and they will also order a beer and fill themselves up with a complimentary bar snacks instead. As seen as aggressive suko, it is a bitter experience, especially when they start to dwell on the harassment they received in the office again today. And for those who overspend tonight may find themselves here tomorrow. So take care and don't get greedy. After all, payday is still weeks away. So this right here is kind of indicative of a person who has some form of success, right? It's wanting to not overspend and to continue to save the money, be conservative, because this person is, instead of them eating the delicacies like a Wagyu, they're eating the bar snack so that they can have the same experience. Because you don't always have to go for the Wagyu. You can Wagyu. You can eat bar snacks and have a similar experience, because it's about more so about the experience than it is about the delicacy or the food that you're eating. So even though you might want that Wagyu, and that Wagyu is likely in your destiny, you're gonna have that at some point. But just know, take the time to smell the roses, look out around you, be willing to, even though you might have it all, save your money. Even though you might have everything that you want and everything you ever asked for, everything you ever wanted, save your money. Okay? That's what it's saying. So we got an Eight of Pentacles upside down. So upside down, this means perfectionism, a lack of challenge, and dashed ambitions. Much like making a perfect cup of matcha or learning how to perfect pastries, this card represents the diligence needed for one to build their skills in any undertaking. In the anime Rokuhandubu, I'm sorry if I'm chopping it up, this depicts his effort through the food that the staff diligently uses to perfect and serve, including the classic tea and dessert set. As with any repetitive task though, watch out for getting too engrossed in your practice. One can only have so much cake before it becomes overwhelming. So what they're saying here with this being in reversed is be open to challenge. And what I think it's saying here, you go from poverty to having everything you want. Save your money. And don't get too caught up with what you got going on to smell the roses. Don't get too caught up. Challenge yourself. And part of me doing this type of reading and changing the way I view and using this as opposed to the traditional decks, because I have a lot of traditional decks, a lot, and I can read them. This one is more difficult to read because you can't look at the picture and figure out what is going on here. You have to actually read the book and see what's going on here. You actually have to pick this book up and see what it's really saying to you. So that's part of me and my journey, learning to be a novice, yet again challenging myself It is always important to challenge yourself. It helps to bring about a growth, and it keeps you in a place of always adapting, because in life we have to adapt to different circumstances, and we have to have the capacity within to adapt. So although we might have come from poverty and we might have everything that we could wish for, let's continue to save money and challenge ourselves in doing so. So I'm going to look at these other cards and see what they're having to say. This is a sacred geometry deck, which is why they have these circles on the back of the cards. Spirit, what do you want to say to the people watching? Okay. Guidance. When you make divine intelligence your foundation, you finally have a fixed star to follow. And I understand when you have to adapt to things, you feel like there's this need to always be, on the move when you're challenging yourself. But the guiding star is the things that you learn during your Gudon season. During this season, what you learned during this season is going to be your guiding light. And if you've been here, you can always adjust to this circumstance if necessary, right? So the important thing about challenging yourself and saving money is to make sure you continue on your journey and you continue to follow your true north. Your true north. Okay? So what affirmation, Spirit, do you want me to show everyone? What's the affirmation? I feel energy like peeking in on me as I'm doing this reading. So bear with me. All right. I will measure today by how fully present I am. My heart is open to receive love, joy, peace, wealth, and guidance. So it's kind of interesting how this card reading is about wealth and guidance. Learning when you go from a time, a Wagyu moment, not a Wagyu moment, but a Gudon moment, to a Wagyu moment. That's your true north. That's your guidance. This is your guidance. So don't be ashamed of ill circumstances. Ill circumstances are your guidance. It gives you the wisdom to know what to choose, what kind of people you want around you. Because guess what? The people that abandon you during your tough times are not the kind of, you don't want people with those characteristics in your inner circle. Because they'll be always looking for a way to upstage you. Because they abandoned you in your time of need, that was to upstage you. Okay? So you don't need people like that around during your Wagyu season. Okay? But also be present. That's what they're saying too. Also be present. But understand that this Gudon season is your guiding star to show you what kind of people you want in your life or not. So you can leave yourself open for love, joy, peace, wealth, and guidance when you remember where you came from. And some people use that wording inappropriately as if to take a dig at people who moved on with their life, but when you go through a time like this and everybody abandons you and everybody looks down on you, you realize they might tell you, remember where you came from? Yeah, I remember where I came from. I remember you abandoning me in my toughest time. I worked my way through it and got my Wagyu season. And now that I'm in my Wagyu season, I'm going to continue forward through the guidance of the universe and what I learned during my Gudon season and you abandoning me during my Gudon season. So don't let nobody come across you. You made it through some stuff. You went through some things and they abandoned you and they're going to tell you, you better remember where you came from. Yeah, I remember where I came from, all right. I remember you abandoning me during my hardest times. So that's what this is saying. Remember that. Remember these tough times. And always be willing to be flexible. Like sometimes you might have Wagyu, and sometimes you might eat bar snacks. Like shoot, like right around now, since food is so expensive, the stuff that you learned, the foods that you used to eat during the cool down season, you might want to eat those foods. You might want to go back to eat those foods. You might want to challenge yourself and even change it up a little bit and learn different recipes with those cheaper foods that you were eating during your Gudon season. Okay? So this is my encouragement for you today. To keep your heart open to receive love, joy, peace, wealth, and guidance. And to also remember during your tough times who was there for you and who was not. The people who were not there for you are not meant to be in your destiny. They're not meant for your destiny. So just remember that. All right. Thank you.